Hey there, my friend, Stuart Knight here with a quick video that I hope will help you boycott what you thought. All right, listen, I was just driving back from a speech I was doing out of town just now, about an hour away, and I had a lot of time to be quiet and think in the car, and I was thinking about what I might want to say to you this week, and for whatever reason, the subject of criticism popped up in my mind, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately as I've been noticing more and more people on the planet are just becoming more and more afraid of criticism. Like, they'll do anything they possibly can to not hear negative feedback about themselves. And I don't know what happened, but for me, I've noticed in the last few years that people have started becoming more and more fragile. It's as if they're made of paper mache. When did that happen? When did people start becoming such wimps? Because I'm pretty sure there was a period of time many, many years ago where criticism was just part of life. Sometimes your coach told you that you weren't the best basketball player. Sometimes your teacher said, you know what, you suck. You need to get better at your math. Or maybe somebody in your friendship or your parents or your neighbors said, hey, you know what, you're not as cool as you think you are. But now everyone is so afraid to hear any of those kinds of things to the point where they'll do everything they can to surround themselves in a bubble so that they don't have to hear it. You know, I see this, in fact, there was a great example of this with my friend Annie Lala, who is this great love coach in the city of New York, and she coaches people all around the world. She told me one time, she said, you know, intimate relationships are the best place to really learn about who you truly are, because they will show you your ugly parts. And that is the exact reason why everyone wants to leave intimate relationships. You know, you start getting to that point where you're comfortable with your intimate partner, and that's when they start feeling comfortable and saying, you know, you're not as funny as you actually think you are, or, you know what, I think you probably could have been better in that business deal, or you know what, you could probably work harder at that relationship with your sister or your brother. And we hear these things, and instead of just taking it in and actually doing something about it and improving our lives, we think, you know what, this is just not the person for me. I'm going to leave the relationship, get together with someone else so that they can tell me just how great I am all the time. And I've seen this in my own personal life. You know, I used to have a friend, her name was Michelle, and, you know, we were very close friends and we knew each other for a very long time. And I was that one person in her life who would give her feedback from time to time. I do this with all my friends because I'm just an honest person. And I would do it respectfully and I would do it in a caring way, but she did not want to hear it. And her big excuse was, I want to surround myself with positive people. Well, what do you want? You really want people that are going to blow sunshine up your ass all the time? That's going to get you absolutely nowhere. I am the kind of friend who will give you lots of positive feedback, but I'm also the kind of friend that will say, hey, you know what? You kind of suck there and you should know that. And what does she do? Ended the friendship. That's what sound it makes when you do that with your hand. She ended the friendship. She said, that's it. I don't want to be friends with you. Sent me an email. Sent me an email. Oh, I gotta love that one, right? 15 years of friendship, not even big enough to make a phone call and do it voice to voice. She actually sent me an email and said, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And of course gave herself an excuse as to why she didn't want to be friends with me. But the real truth is that she doesn't like being friends with people who tell her how it really is. And that's what it is. People just don't want to hear how it really is. I was having an email conversation with somebody recently. I don't know how it got there, but the conversation somehow got to religion. Oh my God, let's not talk about religion. Everyone avoids that subject at all costs. We don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to challenge anybody. Why not? It's an idea. Let's talk about it. And in her case, she was talking about Jehovah's Witnesses. And somewhere she said something along the lines of, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses have never, you know, killed anybody. You know, she was making reference to how some religions have killed in the name of religion, but Jehovah's Witnesses have never done that. And I kind of half-jokingly replied, I said, well, yeah, maybe you're right, unless you take into account blood transfusions. I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny, but many of you may know that Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in blood transfusions. As far as I understand, that's the way the reading seems to go. And there have been many people, it's been documented, I didn't make this up, who have had a partner, a husband or a wife, who's had a big accident, and to save their life, they need a blood transfusion. And the person who is allowed to make a decision on behalf of their unconscious partner is the husband or wife. And they say, what do you want to do? And they say, I do not believe in blood transfusions. And guess what? The person died. I don't know about you, some call that murder, all right? But it's up to you to decide whether it is or isn't. I am on the side of saying, I kind of lead towards, you know what, unless you've got some sort of scientific evidence to suggest that this is a good idea, it's probably a good idea to help save your husband's life. I'm pretty sure that his family would want you to do that too. So it kind of does fall into that area that some might consider it murder. It was just a point that I was making. It was a criticism on the idea of being a Jehovah's Witness. Well, forget it. Guess what she said to me? Don't email me back. I don't want to speak to you anymore. I don't want to hear from you ever again. It's like, why can't we just agree to disagree? It's just a thought. I mean, I saw this recently. Some of you may have seen that clip in the last year or so where Sam Harris, who is an atheist, and he's critical of the Islam. He's critical of the religion Islam. And he was on a show with Bill Maher, and across from him was Ben Affleck, and there were other people at the table too. And all of a sudden, Sam Harris just made some points about the Islamic faith, and all of a sudden, Ben Affleck went crazy. Like, he literally, if you watch the clip, check it out on YouTube, he goes bonkers and starts calling Sam Harris a racist. For you to have any kind of ideas around Islam and you're not a Muslim, and how could you possibly think that? You're a racist. And what's funny about that, and Ben may have wanted to do his research on this before he said it, you do realize, Ben, that Islam is not a race, it's a religion. Anybody of any skin color is allowed to be Islamic, right? So you've got white people who are Islamic. You've got brown and black Muslims. You've got people who are Asian and South Asian Muslims. You've got every color of skin who's a Muslim. So it's not a race. It's an ideology, like any other religion is an ideology, and it's just an individual who was criticizing it. You don't have to agree with him. All you have to do is listen to what the other person has to say. And that is what I want to say to you this week. Whether it's religion, or whether it is politics, or whether it is, oh my God, politics. Are you kidding me? Have you seen what's going on in the United States these days? Guys, to my American friends, if someone doesn't agree with you and they're critical of you being a Democrat, or they're critical of you being a Republican or an independent, it doesn't mean they hate you. It doesn't mean they're anti-American. It doesn't mean that they think that the devil should come up from under the ground and kill everybody. It just means they believe in something that's different than yours and than what you believe in. And so just talk about it, okay? Instead of hating each other. I've never seen America be so divisive as they are these days. So whether it's politics or religion, or whether it's a relationship that you're in, or whether it's a friend who's telling you something that maybe you don't want to hear, or it's a boss. Oh my God, bosses these days, they sit somebody down to give them a performance review. They tell the person, you know what? You're actually not performing very well. You could be a lot better with the customers and the clients, or whatever negative feedback they give them. What does the person do? They cry. People are crying when they get this feedback. What are you crying about? Grow up. You should be getting excited because someone just told you in a roundabout way, here's how you could be better. And yes, some people suck at doing this. Some people are not very good at giving you negative feedback. I'm pretty good at it. I can say this. In fact, I'm good at this because I've had to do it so many times in my life. Like anything else, you do it enough times, you become better and better at it. In fact, a guy named Sean, who was an actor who I used to work with, I would be the director of these shows, and I'd be giving people feedback on how their performance was on stage. And after I gave Sean feedback one time, he said to the rest of the group, he said, yeah, okay, thanks, Stu. And he said to the rest of the actors on stage, he goes, you know what Stuart's really good at? Basically telling you that you suck and then making you actually feel good about it. So if you are giving negative feedback, try to be someone who does it in a positive way. If you want to criticize a religion or a politician or a way of doing politics, or if you want to criticize your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, your husband, your wife, if you want to criticize your children, which a lot of parents are doing on a daily basis, whatever it is, do it with love. Do it respectfully. Don't do it in a way that's demeaning. And if you do that, you should get a much better response. But if you are the person on the other side of the criticism, whether you're getting it the way you want it or not, whether it's done in a nice way or not, stop for a second and just listen. Maybe I am a little ugly sometimes when I have too many drinks. Maybe I'm not as funny as I think I am. Maybe the way that I look at religion or spirituality is not evolved. I don't know. Maybe the way I dress isn't as cool as I think it is. I don't know. But just tell me and I'll listen to it. And let's accept it for a second. Let's try it on. And ask if there is an opportunity to grow or to expand or to stretch the way we think, to stretch the way we do things. And if you do that, you'll be doing something that most of the world's population is too afraid to do. And by doing that, you are going to become more successful in business because you're changing the way that you do business. You're going to become more successful in your relationship with your partner because you're changing the way that you're approaching the relationship. You're going to become a better friend, a better parent, or a better son or daughter, a better citizen of planet Earth when you look at yourself and realize, God damn it, you're not perfect, and either am I. I make mistakes every day. And I'm willing to look at them, and I hope that you'll be willing to look at your mistakes and more specifically to look at the ways that you can grow as a person. If you're willing to take criticism or negative feedback and then allow it to take you to that next level of your life, you'll look back at your life one day and you won't regret taking on some of that negative stuff. You'll actually be so glad you did, because the great life you lived will be conducive and directly correlated to the fact that you did take that advice. So anyways, that's my thought from today's drive coming back from that speech that I did this morning. I hope it helps you boycott what you thought. If you like it, share it with other people. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Let's keep on pushing ourselves to be better. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Thanks for checking out that video, my friend. I've got one more over here for you. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And next to that, you can also subscribe to my weekly newsletter. If you do, you get a free gift. How cool is that? And last but not least, please make sure that you share this with other people. Together, we can change the world. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.